71-year-old Robert Maudsley is spending his 51st Christmas behind bars. Now imagine that. 51 years in prison. He went to prison when he was 20 years old. Or he first went into Broadmoor Secure Hospital. And he has been in prison ever since. Now just imagine being in the same cell, same CSU, solitary confinement, for 46 years. Now, Robert Maudsley was initially sentenced to life imprisonment when he killed John Farrell on the streets of London. Because Maudsley had a bad upbringing as a child, abused and mistreated by his parents, so he went to live on the streets and he was working as an worker. Now, when he came across Farrell on the streets, Farrell began to show him pictures of youngsters, and Maudsley did not like what he'd seen, and then straight away, in his mind, all he could think about was murder. So he took John Farrell's life there and then went to a police station, had himself in, told them what he had done, and he was initially sent to Broadmoor Secure Hospital. Whilst in there, him and another prisoner, Cheeseman, took another prisoner hostage in the pad and butchered him for 9 hours, torturing him, then eventually killing him. And he was another pedo within the system. So for that offence, he was given another sentence, but it was manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. So he was then transferred to HMP Wakefield. Now, it makes you question why, when they know that he hates these type of prisoners, would they then send him to a prison that is full of them? HMP Wakefield, also known as Monster Mansion, is the worst of the worst for holding these type of predators and beasts. And what did they do? They put Maudsley in the middle of them, knowing fine well that he had tendencies to want to kill these type of inmates. So why, if they knew he was mentally unwell, did they not keep him in Broadmoor and give him the help he definitely needed? But no, they sent him and put him in amongst these bacons. It was just a hunting ground for Maudsley. So not long after he'd been there, he had the intent to kill 7 in one day. But he did manage to get 2. Now, the first one, he got in his pad. He was enticing people into his pad. A lot of them knew what was going on, and a lot of them knew what Maudsley was all about. But one of the inmates, he managed to get him in, battered him, garroted him, and stuck him under the bed so he wasn't seen. He then tried to get fellow inmates in, or fellow bacons in the pad, but they just wouldn't come in because they knew what was happening. They could probably smell the murder in the air. So Maudsley then went into another inmate's pad whilst he was sitting on the bed, grabbed him by the head and began to smash his head off the wall, garroted him also, and stabbed him in the eyes and in the head. But whilst he was smashing his head off the wall, his brains did pop out. And when someone walked past, they seen him standing with the makeshift chiv in his hand, which was a spoon which had been sharpened down on the other end. And the rumours did circulate, and he got the nickname Brains of a few of the inmates, because when they seen him standing with the spoon, the rumours started going around that he was eating his brains, because that's what happens inside of prison. With a dark sense of humour, people make things up as well, and people take it as gospel. So the rumours circulated, and he got the nickname Hannibal the Cannibal, which the press has jumped all over, and they've come up with their own conclusions and made up their own bits of stories as well. And they are saying that he is living in a glass cage specially designed for him. It is a glass cell with perspex glass and everything, and that is a load of bullshit. He's not in a glass cell, he's just in the CSU, which is the Close Supervision Unit, where obviously they keep an eye on him, but he has no human contact whatsoever since he committed those murders 46 years ago. And he has remained in the same cell in the CSU for all of those years with no contact whatsoever with any other prisoners or staff or anything. He has never shook another man's hand. He's never had contact close up. He is shielded when he comes out of his pad by the screws, 10-man unlock. I'm not sure exactly how many it is now, but that was the protocol, 10-man unlock, to make sure he doesn't do anything else. But Maudsley is only a danger to those type of offenders, and he has said that he would do more if he was put in with them. So that is another reason why they won't let him loose anywhere with anybody else, because they just can't take the chances. So he actually went on to say, if you're not going to give us any contact with anyone, and he did request to have a budgie, which was also denied. He said, you might as well give me a cyanide capsule so I can end this suffering, because it is inhumane what they are actually doing to him. But after killing 3 prisoners, the authorities just can't chance it. Because if another prisoner was murdered on Maudsley's watch, then you can imagine the uproar that there would be in the local press, or the press worldwide for that matter. And the governor in charge, the acting governor, just would not have that on his name. Imagine that, the governor gives the go-ahead and then Maudsley does another one. That governor is going to be fired on the spot. And no governor is going to want that on their conscience when he is so high profile. So that's the reason he's been in that box for 51 years, or his 51st Christmas. He's been in the same cell, the same box for 46 years, but he's been in prison coming up 51 Christmases. Now what a legacy and what a life to leave behind. Stuck in that fucking little cell for 51 Christmases. Now that has got to be torture. Even though that is his life, he knows he's never getting released. He's got his mind in it. He would have had to have done a long time ago. But imagine waking up every day thinking, this is it, that little box. No contact, no loving, no skin to skin, no nothing. It must be absolute torture. No wonder he was asking for a cyanide capsule so he could end it. I'm surprised he hasn't actually took his own life, but he will not want to go out that way. And you only get one life. So I suppose when you're in that mindset, you're not going to want to go out like that. When you've got a legacy as the UK's most dangerous man, then he'll not be wanting that plastered all over. The UK's most dangerous man takes the cowardly way out and not served his sentence out without dying naturally. So he'll not want that legacy on his record going down like that when he's also built this reputation and this name up as the UK's most dangerous prisoner, and rightly so, because there's no other prisoner being treated in the same way as this. Yes, you've got your Charles Bronsons, but Charles Bronson has never killed anyone. He's never took anyone's life. Maudsley has took 4 lives, and he is now suffering for that. But I've mentioned this on another video. Do I think this is fair? Absolutely not. Maudsley should be allowed to have contact with other prisoners. There is other prisoners that he wouldn't pose a threat to, even the likes of Charles Bronson, even though them two did have a dispute in the CSU and they didn't really get along with each other, because I think they both wanted the notoriety of the maddest and the most dangerous. But like I've mentioned, there will be prisoners that he would get along with and he could maybe associate with, obviously with the supervision of the screws, so that he can't take another life. But he should be allowed to sit down on Christmas Day with other people and have a meal and just get on with the rest of his life. He's 71. He's not going to have much longer left, and he's going to die a sorry, sad old man. But what's going to happen when he deteriorates and he maybe needs help? Then he's going to get some sort of contact, and he probably will have nurses that will look after him depending on how bad he actually gets. But I'm going to leave that one there for now. People, I thought I would bring that to your attention and put a few things straight, because as I've said, these papers and these press articles come up with some bullshit, and they're saying that he's still in this glass box after all these years. He's not in a glass box. He's in a close supervision unit cell inside of HMP Wakefield Monster Mansion. Hopefully you enjoyed that content, people. Remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.